I also say, I think when I look like zooming out a little bit, this year, the Open, the quarterfinals has been very aerobic. Like you need to be aerobically fit. And I think when I think about that, I think it that feels more like classic CrossFit back in the day. Yeah, which was like very much an aerobic sport. And then it had a period where it biased like really heavy loads, right? When it got to like regional level, the weight suddenly like doubled and it became much more like how strong are you? And if you're really strong and decently aerobic, you can probably finish on the podium. And I feel like this year it's really moved back. Last year was a combination of like aerobic capacity and like skills.
Yes.
Which I saw like high skill movements come back in, which I thought was quite cool. And I felt like this year so far we've seen pretty low skill movements, but a lot of like demand on the energy systems and specifically the aerobic stuff, which I don't know, I quite like, because I feel like it does make it a bit more of an even playing field, because I feel like a lot of people don't have limits on their aerobic capacity versus we do have limits on strength.
You mean psychologically?
I mean, even physically, like the athlete who is like, if strength was a bias, naturally the bigger people,
Of course.
regardless of training, are always going to do better.
Yeah.
Right. Mass moves mass at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So small athletes are always at disadvantage, but you can be big or small and be able to develop, pretty damn good aerobic system. So I do feel like an aerobic bias evens out the playing field a little bit more. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think I agree. It goes back to what I kind of know CrossFit as. But I think, even looking back at when I was at the games this year and at games last year and semifinals last year, like I think I was pretty much the smallest guy there. Like there was a big field of dudes there, and the chicks weren't small either. So like the semifinals programming, although there were a lot of skills in there wasn't like a crazy amount of muscle ups or a crazy amount of legless row climbs and handstand pushes. There weren't very manageable sets that the big dudes ended up prevailing through that. So I don't know, maybe if it is a more aerobic or more energy system based set of tests this year at semifinals, you might see a completely different field of games athletes.
Yeah.
I still think the best will still get through, but those kind of bubble or borderline athletes might chop and change.
Or you could say that because the Open and the quarterfinals has been so aerobic, maybe the semifinals are suddenly going to be a big step up.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. I mean, I did hear. So Bosman was asked a question like, why didn't you just do a classic strength test? Why didn't you just do like a total like you did 2 years ago?
Yeah.
We've had 2 totals, right? 2 iterations of the total. And he actually said he didn't like it in the sense that just the big guy or big girl, or the strong guy or strong girl who doesn't have to show fitness can just skew a leaderboard massively because they're just really strong. He wants people to have to be like fit and strong. So when you look at semifinals last year, we actually didn't have a max strength test. We had an 800-meter assault run, and then you had to hit a max snatch. And then there was like Linda, which was like a strength endurance test, which is constant moving. So I don't know.
That one was almost done well. You could have literally walked that 800-meter.
You could, yeah. It needed to be a bit of a tighter time cap. So maybe this is a trend in where we're going, which is, you can't just focus entirely on, just getting really damn strong and have that one event where you can just, pick up a big win. Like you need to be fit now. And yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's good.